She walked into the room, her smile bright, the music playing, balloons swaying above. Everyone expected a joyful celebration, but in that moment, the air changed, eyes turned, whispers rose, and then the birthday girl pointed at her. The maid. A single sentence left the room frozen, hearts pounding, and jaws dropping. No one saw it coming. What could she possibly have said to make everyone stop in shock? This wasn't just an awkward moment. It would expose a truth that no one wanted to admit, and by the end, you'll see why one simple act can reveal so much about who we really are. It was a sunny afternoon, the kind of day where laughter and chatter filled the air. The birthday girl, radiant in her carefully chosen dress, moved through the crowd, greeting friends and family. The house was alive with music, colorful decorations, and the aroma of freshly baked cake. In the corner, the maid quietly arranged plates, her hands moving with practiced ease, unseen and unnoticed by most. She had worked there for years, knowing her place, keeping her head down, and doing her job with quiet diligence. No one suspected that this ordinary celebration would take a sharp turn. A single glance, a fleeting gesture, and a word, innocent to some, devastating to others, would ignite a moment that no one in the room would forget. Behind the laughter and smiling faces, tension was brewing, a storm waiting for the right spark, and when it came, it would change everything in a way that revealed the unspoken truths hiding in plain sight. The music continued, but a subtle shift rippled through the room. Conversations faltered, eyes darted toward the maid, who stood frozen mid-step, a tray trembling in her hands. The birthday girl's gaze locked on her, sharp and unyielding, a quiet authority in her expression that made everyone else pause. Whispers spread like wildfire, soft at first, then louder, heavier with judgment. The maid had always been careful, invisible almost, but tonight that invisible almost invisibility offered no protection. A guest chuckled nervously, unsure whether to look away or join in the silent scrutiny. The maid's hands gripped the tray tighter, her heart pounded like a drum. She couldn't silence. Something about the birthday girl's tone made the air feel electric, tense, and impossible to ignore. It wasn't just words, it was the weight behind them, a quiet, unspoken reminder of the hierarchies and assumptions she had endured quietly for years. Time seemed to stretch. The birthday girl's finger didn't waver. Every guest felt it, the unspoken message slicing through the room. Someone did not belong, and tonight, that someone was the maid. She had seen this look before, in passing glances from strangers, in subtle remarks at work, but never in a room so full of people, all watching, all silently complicit. The maid's chest tightened as she realized the magnitude of the moment. What was meant to be a celebration had become a stage, and she was center, unprepared, and exposed. Her eyes flicked to the nearest family member, searching for an ally, a flicker of humanity, but they were too absorbed in their own reactions, their mouths slightly open in disbelief, in shock, in amusement. None moved to intervene, none could see past their own discomfort. And then came the words. The sentence hung in the air, short, sharp, and deliberate. Gasps followed, some polite, some scandalized. The maid's mind raced, questioning everything she thought she knew about her place in this house, in this world. Could she speak up? Could she defend herself without making it worse? The fear was immediate, visceral, curling in her stomach like fire, but so was the anger, simmering and uncontainable. How could a single remark erase years of her dignity? How could laughter and smiles cover a truth so cruel? The room's energy shifted again, heavier now, charged with anticipation and discomfort. Every guest felt it, the fragile balance of civility teetering, ready to fall. And in that charged silence, the birthday girl's next move loomed, promising a revelation that no one in the room would ever forget. The room fell into a tense, suffocating silence. All eyes were on the maid, whose hands shook despite her efforts to remain composed. The birthday girl's voice cut through the quiet, deliberate and cold, each word striking like a blow. "I don't want you serving here tonight," she said, her tone leaving no room for argument. A ripple of gasps and murmurs spread across the guests, some pretending not to notice, others too shocked to look away. The maid's chest tightened, the world seemed to narrow to the space between her and the birthday girl. Years of quiet endurance, of being unseen, invisible, suddenly felt exposed in a single moment. She swallowed hard, the room spinning as whispers and stifled laughs surrounded her. Every instinct screamed to leave, to run from the humiliation, but she stood frozen, trapped by the stares and the unspoken weight of what this rejection meant. Anger flared, hot and sharp, mingled with fear. This was not just a dismissal, it was a public stripping of dignity, a display of power and prejudice for everyone to witness. She felt the walls close in, the room growing smaller with every heartbeat. The birthday girl's lips curled into a faint, victorious smile, as if she had won some cruel game no one else had agreed to play. But then, in the midst of humiliation, Clarity cut through her fear. She saw the truth behind the smiles and the polite gasps. This moment, painful and shocking, revealed more than cruelty. It exposed the layers of bias and social hierarchy that had always dictated her place, and in that instant, something inside her shifted, a quiet strength igniting beneath the trembling. She realized the story did not end here, even if the room thought it did. The guests held their breath, sensing the tension, knowing something had changed. The maid's eyes lifted, meeting the gaze of the birthday girl, unflinching now, a spark of resolve. In the midst of chaos in that charged moment, the air hung heavy with unspoken questions. Who truly held power, and who had the courage to claim it? Resolution and impact. The tension in the room slowly eased, but the echoes of that moment lingered long after the guests returned to their conversations and the music resumed. The maid quietly gathered the remaining plates, each movement deliberate, measured. She had endured humiliation, yet she walked with a quiet dignity that no words could take away. The birthday girl had spoken, the room had gasped, and yet, in the aftermath, the maid's resilience became the silent statement no one could ignore. That day changed more than just an evening. It revealed the invisible lines that society draws, the unspoken hierarchies that dictate who is seen and who is dismissed. It was a stark reminder that racism is not always loud or violent. Sometimes it hides in words, in gestures, in moments that pass too quickly for some to recognize. And while the room moved on, the impact on the maid, and the reflection it should spark in every observer, remained. In those fleeting seconds of confrontation, a truth became undeniable. Dignity is not granted by others, it is claimed and defended. Even in the smallest of actions. The incident exposed biases, challenged perceptions, and left a lingering question in the minds of everyone present. How often do we witness injustice and remain silent? How many small humiliations go unnoticed, shaping lives without acknowledgement? The maid left that night with her head held high. Carrying more than plates, she carried the quiet power of resilience, the knowledge that one moment, no matter how cruel, cannot define her worth. And for those watching this story, the question remains, in a world still haunted by inequality, will we stand by, or will we act? Will we speak, intervene, and challenge the injustices that unfold around us, or will we be part of the silence that allows them to continue?